Hey, I am working on a brand new editor for CueCam Presenter, and to make sure I do the best design, I want to look at some other apps like Prezi and Keynote and beyond. And I also have a fun new feature in Video Pencil, so let's go. That is what happens when you scrub the intro sequence. Hey, I just want to try this. Hello! Wait, I've got to do it like the opposite way around. Hello! This is Squares TV App Lab number 57, where I show you how to tie together your Mac, iPhone and iPad with all the apps I've been making and talking about via squares.tv. This week we are on YouTube, which is just my feed, and I've got a few people on Zoom on After Hours, which is you could join in that way via office hours if you want. I hear a chat message, which means I've got to hunt down my eCam window, like see where that went, because I'm sure that's someone saying hello. Hey, Cyprian. So today, let's start off with the updates. We have a requested Aside 3D feature. So if I were to, I don't know, let's just share my desktop. We can go into Aside 3D. Now there is a menu item in CueCam, not now, but like when I ship the next build, but I can go present, switch the Aside. So now if my monitors are like, we're on this side, that makes more sense. But if I had my screens on the other side, then it would make more sense to have it that side. So you can now switch what side Aside 3D is on. I fixed a thing with video importing where like it actually shows the progress properly now, which it didn't for ages, and it was just like the stupidest of logic errors, and I must have done it in a rush and didn't notice that I'd done the stupidest thing, and I was like, why doesn't this work? Why wouldn't this be working? It must be something to do with codecs. No, so I put a not instead of a true, instead of a false, like an idiot. But another thing with that Blackmagic camera, John Deering was having issues bringing footage from Blackmagic camera, bringing it into CueCam, and I was worried it was codecs or they had lots of different like channels on the audio. Turns out it's like got a transform on it, so it was sort of taking the video. Let's just go for a thing. So the video was sort of here's the frame of CueCam, and then the video had a preferred transform on it that like rotated it around there. So it's like the video was kind of like upside down and off the edge. So I've had to like correct for that. So I don't know why. I don't know if the metadata is screwy on there or if I'm processing it wrong. But anyway, the Blackmagic footage should now work. And I think there was some audio stuff as well. Audio monitoring is improved. There was a couple of issues. One of them, like I was getting some crazy weird feedback when using this thing, so I couldn't show it last week, but that should all now work. By the way, if you do want to use the Magic Wand tool in Video Pencil, if you want the sound from it, which you can hear now, you don't have to do that screwy iPad connection anymore. It just works in CueCam through some dark magic and secrets. Video Pencil, I'm going to tell you what's new in that in a minute. So, the big new feature for Video Pencil is graphic symbols. So I should probably pull up so if we go into the desktop, like let me just show you. So here's the Discord. This is where you can put suggestions. But in Video Pencil, suggestions, where are they? Video Pencil suggestions, we had ability to add graphical symbols, and there was a bit of discussion around this. Alex, I think he emailed me originally or something. If this were to work, I would love the ability to add a custom image or icon that was available to be dropped onto the canvas, in addition to the pens. If this were to work exactly as I wanted, very selfish I know, then there would be some blank slots in the pen picker, where you could tap a plus to add a new pictogram, maybe some predefined options, certainly the ability to choose from the camera roll. These images could then be selected, and just as you would select a pen, but now every tap on the screen would drop that pictograph on the screen. I have two uses for this: in athletic coaching, to be able to drop cone icons onto a track or pitch, to show setups for various different athletic training exercises. The cone pictograms representing physical cones on the pitch, and then obviously using the regular pen functions to further annotate. And then the other one was, in trading education, the ability to annotate charts on screen with a number of pictograms to represent points of note. So this was how it was selected, and then Jim said, oh, maybe this could be done from the color picker, or perhaps have some like pencil set options. And we had a little bit of discussion about some other things, but this finally came to the top of my to-do list this week, and I thought, let's have a look at this. How do I want this to work? So I'm going to show you how I've actually done it. So this is hopefully the iPad. Yay! Although why has it gone? Yeah. So we've got the iPad here. And if I select a pen tool now, let's do a white, and if I long press, then I get this picker. I can go left and right, and I can go, yeah, okay, let me just stick a shape there, shape there, a shape there. Oops. And maybe you want, like you can annotate different things. If you want to move them around, you just use the select tool. You can drag them around. And if you don't like the size of them, these are a bit big for me. So there's a settings menu. So in symbols, we can change the size that they're going to be. You can sort of get a preview of what that's going to be. And then that menu delay, I've sort of settled on around 0.37 seconds, because if it's too short, then it starts kind of misfiring when you're trying to draw. But this is how you can select which symbols. So I think I've got like, here's like the cone thing. Maybe we want a present and a bin and a thing. But yeah, so you can just select them, and then you just have to have a pen selected, and then that's gonna pop up. So if we wanted like the life preserver, and so the idea with this is it appears where you long press, and it allows you to, if you don't move your finger, it's just going to always pick the last one. So you see, if I went to the bin there, and then I long press somewhere else. Oh, wait a minute. And then I long press, because I'm talking, if I long press somewhere else without moving my finger, it should put the bin down again. See? And so that just lets you sort of quickly put lots. And you've always got like undo if it's a bit weird. So that is the new graphic symbols feature. So you see, like the way I work is I'll take suggestions, but then I am going to sort of like, because I didn't really want to, once you start putting too many things in this, toolbar down here, it starts to get really out of hand. And oh god, I hate this screenshot from the bottom corner, especially with this thing. Do you know there's literally no reason for this to be draggable, except that the Apple one is draggable, and I didn't want it to be different to the Apple one, but I'm tempted to just like fix this in. Sorry if you're getting like this stuttering thing, it's because it's kind of coming back and forth to the iPad. So don't look at my face up here. Look at my face down there. Where am I? Down there. So what was I? Yeah, I just didn't really want to clutter this out. I wanted these to be sort of like number accessible, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you start having too much stuff down there, it just kind of like breaks that mold. The reason for that is that you can set up the Stream Deck, or you can use keyboard shortcuts to trigger those different pens. And then there's a couple of keystrokes that. So I just wanted to keep that not too crazy. But as you can see, like we've already got like, the sort of laser pointer and the magic wand are kind of like starting to be added down there. But I feel like, if these are like paid for extra things, I don't mind putting them down there. But I thought for the graphic symbols, the way putting them on the pens means it also picks up the color. But yeah, I'm open to suggestions of symbols. I kind of was pretty arbitrary with it. I was like, what can I imagine being useful? Potentially I could make it so you could load in any SVG, but at the moment it sort of needs to be like a solid fill, or like it needs to be a certain format of SVG for it to work nicely. The way that I'm drawing them into the pencil kit canvas, basically. So if they need to be solid shapes. So like I wouldn't want to open it up to all SVGs with like different colors and text and all different things, because that would sort of break it. It sort of needs to be SVGs that just have like a path in them that can just be picked up and rendered with the current pen color. But anyway, that is graphic symbols. And if you're wondering about how I did this iPad thing, by the way, this is actually a feature of CueCam. that was sort of lying dormant until today, when I was like, I want my little iPad frame. And how this works is, if you have if you have an iPad plugged in, you see it's also bringing it up down the bottom. If you have an iPad plugged in, can you see here? You can, sorry, my aside 3D is in a crazy place because we're in this weird transformation. So maybe I'll just stop sharing. Real pain and like finding the asset and stuff. So this is just, it just goes to the internet, grabs a list of like frames, and you just select in a drop down menu, and now you can like share your devices, your Apple devices on stream. And that's what I was doing there. It was a weird case because you saw the video feed as well, but that's an extra layer of complexity on all this, but that you won't have to deal with. So I think that's most of the things. I think that's the updates. I am making like bug reports and feature suggestions more of a priority now. I was working for so long trying to get CueCam like stable and not a complete nightmare, like it's months and months and months, that a lot of things kind of like, it may have seemed like I wasn't paying attention, but really I was just trying to get this tool that I'm using right now to be like really viable and really good, and work for me as much as for anyone else. But this is now I'm kind of in this phase. I have this new child. It's like I am just going, okay, what's in the shoot issues backlog? So today I was working on one of the suggestions I had, which was save the shoot camera settings properly from CueCam. So if you like adjust them from CueCam, it's now going to put it back into that state when you reconnect shoot, and also you'll be able to the settings on a card will carry through. So if you made like adjustments to the zoom on a card in CueCam, those adjustments will get applied when you're presenting. So I'm just sort of like trying to like round out the details of all that, but it's been quite a complicated thing to make it to really think about today. And it's one of those things where, please, if you're not on test flight and that sounds like something you'd like to use, then I'd love to like get some feedback. Had some weird stuff with Apple. Apple took like 4 days to approve beta app testing this week, which is like, it took like half a day to approve an App Store submission. So I don't know what happened there over the weekend, but that was weird. So it does mean that the graphic symbols just went straight out without going via test flight, but that's okay. Hopefully it's not going to crash everyone's life. But yeah, for today's session, I thought I'd do like a bit of I'm hoping it can be relatively interactive. I don't know. So I'd love if people want to jump in. If you are on Zoom, then I can just dial you in. I've got a little button to press. If you want to sort of say something or contribute something to the conversation. And I think my button should even make you not get crazy feedback via Zoom now as well. But yeah, I wanted to just look at some presentation tools. So I have been working on this new editor in CueCam, and I just realized that I'm quite biased towards this like Markdown approach, being able to just type and make things happen, and I'm a coder, so I like things to just emerge from a simple bit of code, but that's not the most intuitive thing, and you sort of have to know what all the code, what it is. Like you have to know it's hard to know what to expect. And I have had some feedback on CueCam where it's like even the sort of teleprompter overlay, it's not necessarily clear that that's not going to be coming through to your presentation. Which, I mean, to me it's obvious, but like to someone like landing on it for the first time, even though I made a kind of hover state where it says this is the teleprompter and gives you some extra information and lets you resize it and all that. If you don't know that's what it is, and it is in a bit of a weird place by being in that in the window that it's sort of, I don't think it actually needs to be in the camera view inside the normal CueCam window, now that I think about it. But yeah, it's all those little things that add to the confusion and add to the uncertainty that I want to start looking at with this new editor, so you can really see what you're getting and you're not sort of like having to know what's happening, what's going to happen before it happens kind of thing. So for this, so what I'm looking at here, I'm not sure the YouTube is working, says Cyprian. What makes you say that? Shall I well, I see Lorenzo on there, and I see there's people oh god. See there's people watching. Let's just double check. I should have an email saying now live on your channel. Let me just double check. Oh, is it? Is the video feed weird? Oh, do you know? See, yeah, that's weird because that's. Do you know what's weird? Because my CueCam window looks fine. Oh my god. It's like eCam has gone weird. ECam's like what can we do? Should I try just switching cameras? Let's go here. And let's go here. How's this? Did that do anything? Let's see. I don't want to quit because it's gonna. Okay, I don't want to. Shall I like force quit eCam and try and resume the stream? I think I'll do. Alright, you should be able to hear me. You should be able to hear me. Are we getting... Okay, so the video is good. Alright, that sounds good. Right, that was not CueCam. FYI, guys, that was... I didn't update eCam either. Like, I know that they just released 4.2 yesterday or Monday, and I did not update it, so I don't know. But maybe it's something to do with the fact that today I installed like 6 different virtual cameras as part of this testing process. So it's possible that like the Prezi camera or the mmhmmmm camera, or I don't know. The only thing that's changed is suddenly I've got 6 million different like virtual cameras along the bottom of eCam. So maybe something happened there. Anyway, we're back. Now let me just find my place again. What were we saying? So the criteria with which I am looking at these different tools, are going to be, so first the installation process. Because like, there's a step to getting something on your machine. Then how is the content editing? How's the content authoring? How does that feel? I feel like I could be a bit larger on these, on this font size. Let's go up a little bit. Slides, font size, increase, plus. Just seems a bit small. Oh no, I've gone too high. So themes and presentation I see as sort of distinct. Not all these tools do, but for me, like I feel like the authoring of the content versus how it's going to look can be seen separately. Webcam features, obviously we've got a webcam-y thing. And then, are the results good? And then what cool ideas can we find? And if there's any, the tools that I've got, so that you can be suggesting any other ones. So I'm just going to look at Keynote. I'm going to look at mmhmmmm. I'm going to look at Prezi. And then I'm going to look at MARP, which is a Markdown based tool, like an open source thing. I'm going to look at Apple Motion, because I think we can be thinking about motion graphics here as well as just normal presentation stuff. And I'm going to look at mmhmmmm, which is, if you've seen 3 blue, 1 brown, 3 blue, 1 brown. Is it 3 brown, 1 blue? 3 brown, 1 blue. It's 3 brown, 1 blue. 3 blue, 1 brown. You see? Anyway, the way he does animations, he open sourced that framework, and that's a sort of code-based framework that I've been meaning to have a look at for a while, and I was tinkering with over the weekend. And so that's more sort of motion graphics and a lot of mathematical stuff. But just see if we can sort of come across anything. So if there's anything you've seen that looks really good, then we can have a look at that too. So I'm just going to take this Discord window off my desktop and go to Keynote, and let's start having a look. So this is Keynote. Everyone, I kind of lump in PowerPoint with Keynote, even though in some ways they are night and day in terms of the experience working with them. But I'm not interested in like a Microsoft style experience. But sort of thinking about our criteria, installation, it's obviously free, so that's really good. It's already completely integrated with your Apple stuff, so that just makes it very nice. You get your themes, so I always end up like going to just like the plain basic white presentations, and then I'm just sort of like looking at this. I'm sort of partly looking at so how do they do editing? You click on a box, there's a bit of right click menu, and then you've got this format, animate, document thing on the side, and then there's like sub tabs in here. So it can feel a bit clicky to fix things. Of course, you can like multi-select, and then we've got the how do we change the layout? Okay, so if I just click outside the slide, then I get the layout. So then we get all of our different shapes. And the things I like with Keynote are things like, the templates they give you mean that it's hard to make things look too ugly. What I don't like is this whole, like, everything's just completely freeform. So it's really easy to mess things up, and like it's really easy to like make something ugly, right? Even because it's just a freeform thing, and you can change the size, and you can just go, no, I want this to have like a 200 500 pixel font, I don't know, and I'm going to start going to like, I'm not going to stop people doing this, but it's very much a freeform tool that you can put graphics on, do that kind of thing. Things that I really like about Keynote also, where's the web? I feel like sometimes I worry if Apple just puts a webcam output on Keynote, then that's sort of makes Keynote pretty much like do everything that I'm offering. Well, no, that's not at all true, because I've got all this other stuff that you can't do, drawing with pencil and stuff like that. But with the ability to add, what have they got, like live video. So this is my FaceTime camera, and I did want to check. So live video comes into a tab. I can like change how do I change which camera this is? It's set, is it this? Edit source? Yeah, and then I can say my default camera. Apparently I can't. You can sort of, what you can do is you can set up multiple cameras, and you can like crop. You could say, okay, this is my face cam. I can crop this to a circle. I can have a slide where I'm doing an overhead camera. So I think you can get quite a lot from this. And another thing I like, I feel like there should be a more obvious, I'd add slide is there. If we just add in a thing, like I quite like that, I like charts in this, so I can add a chart and kind of like make that big. I can say I'll give it a title and borders and change the size of it, and then sort of edit the data, and it gives me a little spreadsheet of the values, and I can sort of see what that looks like and edit it. But what it doesn't, I don't know if anyone can, if anyone knows otherwise, but I don't see a way to animate them in. Like I feel like they should be sort of animatable, which is, it feels like that would have been something Apple would do, but I don't see like a build effect appearing when you've got a chart, or any kind of like, I don't see much. But a thing people really like about, if we just duplicate this, I think you can just duplicate. I think something people really like about this is Magic Move, and this is something that we could probably have a look at. So if I go animate, transition effect, Magic Move, then I feel like, exactly. So we could be on this slide, we could play here, we could go next, and then like the next slide, except that cross-faded, which is a bit weird. So they've got these nice transition tools, and then obviously the fact you can have like build effects. But I feel like I I really only use the bullet transitions, and maybe sometimes it would be kind of cool to have the transitions between content, but I've just never really, I don't know, maybe it's because I leave my presentations to the last minute and so they don't get a lot of polish. But I've always found it quite, like, the promise of it is great, but then like there's a lot of transition options, but most of them are ugly, right? So, you know, like, fade through color is a pretty you know, that's a standard one. But like, you get, like, it's fine, but like, it tends to be a bit cheesy, right? It tends to not really be. I feel like these are distracting a lot of the time. These transitions. Sorry, I wasn't full screen as I was doing that. But like, you know, you can have all these. Oh, I can open into a doorway, or I can have a flip, and it's kind of cool. But I feel like most people don't really understand how, like, you need to, if you're doing stuff like that, you need to have like a video is messed up on YouTube. If you're doing stuff like that, you kind of need to understand why you're doing it, and design, you know, it has to sort of like add to the meaning of what you're presenting. Okay, let's okay. Right, well, just keep me posted. This is definitely something's up with all of my weird eCam. It must be something to do with it, but this is. Yeah, so then we should be live again. What's happening? No audio. Let's try. Oh no, I'm back. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, this looks good to me. So I'm gonna. All right. Let me just see that I'm hearing that confirmed. Yeah. No, and audio. Yeah. Look, I'll show you. Like, it's. I mean, I'm getting. I'll show you. I think. Wait, how do I do demo mode? Can I do demo mode? I forget what demo mode is in. Demo mode, live demo mode. Oh, it's still feeding back. Let's get rid of that. So live demo mode, right? So I think because I've got all these additional, yeah, I think it's something to do with, like, I've added like camo, Prezi, mmhmmmm. Like, there's all these other cameras, and that's the only thing that's changed since last week. So something's going on with eCam. But let's come out of demo mode and see if we can persevere. Just like, I can hear if you're saying stuff, so I'll just keep an eye on the feed. But I've also got it up in a window now, so I'll keep an eye on it in the corner of my eye and make sure that's all okay. So yeah, I was saying transitions. All I was saying was I feel like the thing with having the power to change, to have all these transitions, is you've got to understand why you're doing it. And usually, like, it's easy to have like arbitrary, cheesy transitions and things, but like, you have to actually decide what the visual language is of your transitions, of your presentation, what's going to work. That's not something everyone knows how to do. And so I feel like this is great for Apple's design team and people where the design team is assembling decks and they know exactly, you know, they're creating those big Apple keynotes. They have the power to sort of do the right transition for the right big reveal as part of one of those big keynotes for Apple. But I think for mortals, it's a lot of options that you probably shouldn't use, right? Unless you really know what you're doing with it. And I don't know, like, maybe this is a bad path, like trying to kind of like, you know, hold people's hands and try and help people not make ugly stuff. Maybe I am expecting too much, but I do think, like, I prefer something a bit simpler, a bit more constrained, that's going to do a bit more of that, like, design language heavy lifting for me, and put a few more sort of like constraints on how it's going to look, and then that allows you to do more powerful things within these constraints within the software. It can make sort of better judgments when everything isn't just like a random loose text box. Like you can start to compose things and be smart about it. And for example, what I want to be able to do, well this is going to come soon in CueCam, if I am streaming to TikTok, or if I'm doing a vertical stream, I don't want to have to like redo this layout for TikTok. I just want it to be like a web page where it all kind of reflows to fit a vertical format. So that to me is something that we just can't do when everything's just a loose text box with an X and Y coordinate and a font with a certain point size. So this is Keynote, powerful in the hands of a good designer, and if you use it in a very simple way. But I feel like I can do a lot of the basic stuff in CueCam without like forcing you to make those design decisions. So that's kind of my feelings about Keynote. I really like it. I think you could do a lot. I think if they put stuck a webcam output on it, that would almost kind of give you everything you need. But you wouldn't get, you wouldn't be able to do this though. You wouldn't be able to do magical things like this. But anyway, right. So next up, I have not used mmhmmm. So I'm just going to review changes. So I'm just trying to delete my temporary documents. Yeah, we are going to talk about the download process. I did notice it wasn't too much in terms of downloading. I think they've done a bit more like I've done, which is as long as you you have to sign up to you have to sign up to download it, which you don't for CueCam. And then this is the first screen that you land on. So already like kind of doing a better job. And this is as far as I got when I was looking at it. So let's bring it up by going to, let's just grab it and see what we get. So I've never really looked at this, and I'm quite intrigued to see what this does. But my sense is it sort of is going to suffer from the same thing as Keynote, where you're kind of like just laying out boxes, and also OBS or anything where you're just kind of laying out boxes on an XY grid, and you sort of lose the potential for like dynamic stuff. But that's what I think. Okay, we seem to have lost the first use screen. So I would like to. So first thing I want to do is like, how do I change my camera? Has anyone used this? So this is, I should probably, I don't know, should I have learned more about how this works? Is there like a template that I can start from? Okay, and you can screen share. I noticed that they did, everyone's doing this thing that I ended up having to do where you sort of have to ask for all the permissions and get people to install. I saw like eCam. It was funny this week. eCam's released their new like system extension camera instead of the old one, the DAL camera, and that meant that they were having to tell everyone, okay, you've got to click on this thing, and it pops up a thing that says you system extension blocked, and then you've got to go into system privacy and security settings and click that. And I'm like, yeah, it's a nightmare. And he said, yeah, I think Glenn said, I think, yeah, why couldn't they just put the allow in the box that pops up? And I'm like, yeah, why couldn't they just put it? But like, this is just something we're all living with now. So hopefully everyone gets used to where that allow button lives. But it's been a bit of a pain having to educate everyone in this. But yeah, like, has anyone used mmhmmm? Do you know what the point of this is? I thought it was like you can sort of set up a layout and have a background, and now I've got amazing. So I mean, when am I using this? How do I change my camera? Is it up here? Is it? It's here. Okay, so it's sort of like a zoom window is what they're going for. So I changed my camera to this one, and then can I put a LUT on it? Is my next question. You can put I have a green screen. That's good. But I don't. Someone will have to tell me if it's possible to put a LUT on. Now, what is this giving me? Why do I need to do this? Why do I need a okay, so we can set a background. I don't want a background. That's cheesy. We can do a presentation slide. Okay, so they've got like slides, and then in this slide we can go, okay, This is slide 1. Oh, and I can sort of move that where I want to move it. And then can I drag these around? I can come here. And I can add another one. But each one, can I like duplicate my slides maybe? Oh, I can't multi-select it. Deleted slides can't be recovered. You can implement undo. Undo is quite, just do undo. So I'm going to duplicate. Oh, that didn't work. Duplicate. Right, so now I've got two slides. This is slide 2. So here, okay, does it transition? How do I start? Can I like run a presentation, or do I have to just like, oh, this is the scratch pad? Save slides as a new presentation. Oh, create new presentation. Right, gotcha. New presentation. So I'd be sort of authoring my presentation in this tool. Oh, and I can add videos in. Okay. Originally, so Jeff says, wait, let me put this up on the screen. Let me put this up. Where is the window? I've lost my chat window. CueCam, floating windows, the bane. So Jeff says, originally it simply solved the problem of how to put your face in picture over a presentation. Now they're throwing everything at it since every app can do picture-in-picture. So I know they were VC funded. I think they had to do some layoffs as well. But like you can see, it's got that polish of the VC funded app. But what I'm confused, I feel like they must support LUTs. CueCam supports LUTs, because I'm on a logarithmic camera profile here, and I can't really switch to if I switch to my face cam to my FaceTime camera, then it's like under the Elgato prompter there. Look, the goal of this isn't to shit on anything. The goal of this is just to sort of have a look at it and just learn about how they're doing things. What it seems like is they do have presentations. I don't know that they have the concept of stepping through a present. Maybe you sort of focus down there and step through it. So there is some concept of a sequence of slides, but I feel like let's put that video in that I put in earlier. This is going to be weird because so if I just drag a video down there, uploading. Oh, is this all like an online? Why do you need to upload anything? It's uploading a file. Is this an online thing? Why does it? I don't. What? Okay, so I mean, I just convert things. I don't want to wait for that. So I've got my videos. I can do a presentation. I can do some so it's for sort of tweaking your appearance a bit. We can have, yeah, they put some effects in. So like, this is cute, but like, when am I using this? What am I using this for? Like, yeah, I could put in a filter that makes it so you can go pixelated, but like when am I using this? Like, again, it's like you get the tools, but that's divorced from any kind of design language. I mean, this is fun. Like, I could add this into, but it's like, you got to think about how that's used on a day-to-day basis. But anyway, I think this is, once again, we have kind of content mixed in with presentation, which isn't always a bad thing, but for me, I would like, what I feel is the power of what I'm doing is that the content is separated from that presentation, and you can just think about it without having to see a big slide every time. This is something I like, but I understand that people might want to kind of know what's going out on their webcam a bit more clearly, and that's something that I'm working on, and that's something that I'm looking at. But yeah, just to sort of look at this again one more time. So we've got they've got their they've got their like viral. This is like not a this is to invite someone to the presentation, not to invite someone to use the app. So what am I doing? Oh, so this is like they actually do video calls, do they? Okay. But you can screen share, you can do media, you can do text, you can do Giphy. Wow. And then what we can just add in. I mean, that could be sort of handy for if you wanted to sort of do a funny reaction. Bring to front. Why didn't bring to front bring that to the front? Bring to front. Okay, bring to front didn't bring it to the front, so it's like behind me. So there's bugs. So I feel okay. I'm always happy when other people have bugs. But yeah, I kind of imagined it was something like this. I didn't realize they had presentations. I didn't realize they had video streaming, but you know, that's fine. Oh, you can draw. That's fun. It's annoying, like these toolbars where there's space for everything, but they go into a sub menu. It's like, okay, but if I want to draw, oh, how does this? Okay, so I get a layer that I can draw on with my mouse. So, okay, that's fun. All right, so let's go on to Prezi. So the first thing that struck me about Prezi was the sign-up process is pretty aggressive. Like, look how many fields they want me to fill out just to sort of get to the download. And then, like, it was like, oh, you've got to put in your occupation and your department before you can even access this thing. I'm like, come on, guys. And I know you've been around for a while, but cool it. And then, of course, you can't like download it without signing up for a 14-day trial and putting your credit card in. So I don't know if there's a way of, I don't know if I had to do this, but it seemed like I had to do this to even look at it. I could be wrong. But I saw that they had, they did have two downloads on the website. One was this 200, but it said like Prezi camera, and it was a 220 megabyte download, and it came with a camera extension, which fine, good. This is what we need. But it also, I think that was also the app, which was I was a bit confused about. But if we sort of find it, if you haven't used Prezi, oh, but this is oh god, what's happening there? Oh my god, something's weird's going on. Prezi's messing with my stuff. How these things affect, these things are like affecting each other. That's really weird. So here's Prezi video. I think this is just the webcam presenter where you can sort of say, okay, do I want, if I selected a different camera, if I selected FaceTime, is my audio okay? Cool effect. I'm going to go on to the, yeah, no, it's still happening, so I don't know what that's about. Hopefully, shall I see if it stops if I quit Prezi? Or is that just, that's what we get now? Oh my god. I'm going to have to just, okay, let's see. Let's see if we can see what's going on. Where were we? We were on Prezi. Let's go to here. So back to my desktop. Let's see if Prezi makes my webcam go crazy again. It hopefully, because it's not like accessing the same camera, maybe it will be better behaved. Yeah, I think that's, yeah, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Let me make sure everything's back where I put it. So that was weird. So here's Prezi. So you can sort of say, oh, give me a, you can, so you can add in, you can sort, this is basically a tool, I think, for running your Prezi presentation. So you can sort of go import Prezi, close, and then I made one with their AI features here. So I said, like, give me a comparison between Prezi and Keynote, which I should probably show you. So I guess you can't, can I not author these down here? Is it a cloud-based tool is what I'm wondering. So let's see if we can bring up Prezi on the website. So here's my presentation. So what I did was like create new presentation, and then you get your different templates. So this is all very beautiful. This is very cool. Like, I think what's cool about this is they're actually thinking about, they have done some design where it's like, okay, this is a historical thing. This is a science thing. Let's, maybe we can pick, I mean, we can go for one that's quite abstract and go, okay, my presentation is, yeah, like use this template. Oh, is this editable? No, okay, so my presentation's title is going to be Prezi versus Keynote. And then I'm going to say compare the features of Prezi and Keynote. I know Keynote, I don't know Prezi. So let's make ourselves a presentation. So they've got some AI tools going on, haven't we all? But this is all very slick and nice animations. They've obviously got an illustrator that they've paid, and they've got some designers. Isn't that nice? So this lets me sort of preview the thing. So the Prezi presentations, basically, they do this like zoom in, zoom out, like scale transition thing, which is basically their whole thing. I think that's like, it's not a cheap tool. It's a very specific type of thing, I find, but we can change. I like that you get a bit like high level control. Okay, I want some vibrant contrast. I do not want a background. What's this? Start. I can generate some backgrounds. So it sort of gives you something to play about with. Do I want a globe? Do I want some abstract? Okay, let's do this, and then we can start editing. And we can, I guess, like use these. Okay, so we've got navigation down here. We can come into here. So it's like, it's just your canvas that you're zooming in and out of. And that can feel... and you can see the sort of boundaries around each slide. And sort of go into that. And we can sort of, should we try just presenting it? Start presentation, present with watermark. So introduction. Where are my Keynote features? Prezi, where are the... This didn't give me much of a deck. But the other one it gave me, Prezi offers dynamic movement while Keynote provides creative templates. Do you know what's a bit crap about this is, like, what am I doing while this, like, jazzy animation is? This feels like it's for projectors still. Honestly, like, if you ask me, this feels like it's for projectors. Like, I'm standing in front of the thing and this thing is doing a snazzy thing behind me. But like when we're looking at this, we're kind of, where am I in this? Am I floating and changing size over this sort of two-dimensional plane? Like, it's hard to know how this sort of marries up, which is why they've got sort of, you can either be sort of transparent, you can just make it take over. Well, do we get tooltips? Transparent mode, full mode, or floating mode isn't compatible with Prezi Present. Okay, so I think let's see if we run this one. So yeah, this presentation will compare the key features. I mean, this is just, you just kind of need to be like this, really. And then it's all text, so like, I don't want someone reading. Like, I know this is AI generated, but like, this is not what I would consider like a two-camera presentation, or even a presentation, because it's got all the information on the slides. I think I saw something about speaker notes though. But then I think I saw something about you having to pay or something for speaker notes. But yeah, like I feel like Prezi is for a room. I think that's a projector thing. I don't think it is a natural fit for a webcam, having a look at it. So moving on, I think the next thing I'm going to look at, although that said, like the transitions, I think we can certainly, what I would take from the transitions is, this is kind of how I want my screen sharing experience to be. And it's something that's in the latest version of CueCam. Like, if I have a screen share on a card now, and like for one slide, I want to sort of zoom in sort of on, on the menu up here, for example. I would like that to be a kind of Prezi style transition. And then when I go to the next one, if that's also the same screen share, but it's got a different transformation, I want it to kind of do that movement. So if we kind of come out of there and come back, we'll see we're now zoomed into the same place that we were zoomed into. So that's something I do want to do. But I think beyond that, it's a cool effect. And they've done a good job of marrying it up with different types of stories. For me, like, it feels like something you have on the wall behind you to sort of snazz up a pitch meeting in person, rather than something you'd do on a webcam. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is MARP, which is it's actually sort of a bit of an ecosystem more than so. Markdown is just a sort of way of writing up documents where you're only specifying the content and you're not specifying anything about the presentation. You're saying this is a title. So it's like old-fashioned HTML before CSS came in. The CSS is separate from the content. And the idea is, okay, headings, body, bullet points, quotes, these things, images, all have a sort of simple syntax that can be read without it going through a presentation tool. It just looks sort of readable, which is what I hope that my CueCam cards look readable. But then it can also power a more rich presentation of that content. So to show you what that means, I think this should pop up. Let's quick Prezi. Close anyway. And let's see if we can find my... I thought I had this set. Oh, I guess I didn't. I thought I had the website. So let's find the website, shall we? What's this called? What am I looking for? Marp.app. So what I wanted to... so here I wanted to see... So what we're talking about here is each slide. These are the slides here. And then this is how you write the document. So you just go like, you put a little bit of code up here and then you say, here's an image, here's a title, it's bold, you put a link in. I think I actually have this running. So I've got my little MARP. Yeah, here's my little MARP document. Well, I feel like I'm zoomed out for some weird reason. So this is... So I'm just going to bring my windows back so I can see all of you guys. MARP I think is cool. So here you can see. I think this works best when you get this preview. So you saw I was editing the text over on the left, and I got the changes over here, and another bullet. So you can straight away see the influence on CueCam of this sort of thing. If I want to add another slide, I just go -- hello, this is my other slide. And maybe I need a space. Yeah, my other slide. And if I put a big thing there, that's going to be big. If I put 2, it's going to be smaller. 3, it's going to be smaller again. If I go, this is a bullet. This is some paragraph text. So all this presentation is being sort of handled independently of the content. And this is something I really like, because I feel like you can get into more of a writer mindset as opposed to a kind of I'm dragging and dropping text boxes all over the place mindset. And maybe I'm sort of procrastinating on my content because there are too many things to drag about and fonts to change and things. And I think our time is better spent thinking about the content than, dicking about with like text boxes and like images and stuff. And this is why CueCam, I'm trying to keep it to sort of a fairly minimal amount of stuff that you want to put in there, because I just want you to be able to focus on the content and not have to muck about. But this is a family of tools. And then what you can do with this is you can go export slide deck, and I can go PDF, HTML, PowerPoint. So if I go like HTML, and then just like, it fires up and I get these little presenter tools. The bullets come in one at a time. Well, they should do anyway. This is my other slide, bullet. We can go full screen. So there's like a presenter. I don't know how this works. I don't know how you use this, but yeah, you can sort of export it in different formats, and that seems kind of cool. Jeff, I'm happy to. Do you want me to dial you in? Did you have a? Okay, I'm going to drop Jeff in. Jeff, you are. Jeff, you're. Hey,
Hear me okay?
yeah.
Oh, now I don't hear you in Zoom. Hmm.
So I have got, yeah, sorry, there's some stuff here. So what I've done, Jeff, is when I dial you in, I mute myself so that you don't get your own voice fed back to you immediately over my virtual mic. So are you not hearing me? You should be hearing me. No, no, no. It's because you are now going out through the virtual mic, which is what I've got piping into Zoom. So it's nothing to do with headphones. It's like I'm actually creating a bit more of a crazy feedback. So I'll drop you in and yeah.
No, your whole loop of all the different things you're doing of trying to show the software that you're actually using. And I mean, it's a vortex that amazing you're keeping track of. So, if you're open, I'll just add, the perspective that we've spoken about on email. What I'm looking for is you're looking at all these different products, and I'm curious because I don't know how unique my want or need is versus others. Um, first of all, it's for me, it's not always simply based on presentations. I may want to share a variety of things. So it may be other apps. It's often perhaps a website, something that I can show in my browser, so I can just, quickly go to showing something picture in picture and I'm showing my browser. Um, and so that's the one thing that I'm looking for is the ability to go uh, back and forth showing just my camera full screen and whether it's picture in picture or not to a variety of apps. But now the other perspective that I always take is I'm almost always prepared ahead of time of what if it's a presentation, what I will want to show. So I know now I'm going to want to be showing my slides. And at this point, I know I want to perhaps change to show something in my browser, or at the very least, when I'm, let's say, live as a panelist on office hours, um, it's happening on the fly, but I know in the moments before it'll be my turn to speak, similarly, I'm preparing something that I will switch to. But again, I'm queuing it up exactly the way I want it to appear, where on screen, everything else. But then I'm back to full screen. But at that moment, reliably switch to that picture in picture setup and know that that thing is going to appear the way I just had it set 2 minutes ago. So those are my kind of broadly speaking um, things I look for. So I'm also switching back and forth between, let's say, OBS right now, and I guess the scenes would be the equivalent of the cards. Um, and so that's the biggest thing for me is it's not solely. And you just mentioned text box. It's actually one of the things I mentioned that for me I would love to see is because if I'm not mistaken, entering text on a card is always bullets, and there's certainly, for me at least, plenty of use cases where a freeform text box would be preferable. They're not necessarily uh, bullet items.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. This is it's quite intense for me listening to that because I get the double audio. Even if you don't, I get you like you're booming at me like in this sort of double feedback thing. Um, what I'll say is, yeah, I've definitely been so obviously like if you have like one scene you want to go to, then OBS or something like that is probably a better model for what you're doing. In some ways, it's like even though there's other things that are more complicated, but like really what I'm trying to do with CueCam is move beyond that random access scene layout thing and give you something where you're more focused on a sequence of content. That said, yeah, there's no reason that I can't meet that use case. But I think what you've been coming up against is just literally just like there's still some holes in it and there's still some bugs in it where your expectation and also some expectations aren't necessarily always yeah, like this is why, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to other people to just sort of make sure that, because I know, I'm too close to it. I want to know how other people feel about it. So something like, I wouldn't have thought to keep the transform attached to the card, or the shoot camera settings attached to the card. But then, because like that's not how I'm wired up when I'm thinking about it. But I can now that you sort of give me the use case, I can say, oh right, yeah. And so if I understand, okay, you need to be able to, this layout, I've moved these things to where I want them to be. When I hit that card, I want it to always be exactly the same, and that's a fair expectation. And it's sort of a matter of like, am I attuned to, oh, has this got a very specific crop? Right? Has this got a very specific like white balance on the shoot camera? If I'm not like paying attention to that, because I'm usually paying attention to, is the audio crackling, or is this box buggy, or is the tab order going right, or when I scroll the things going weird? Like, I'm always looking at a million different things as I'm working on it. But yeah, so really my goal is get, understand the expectations, so that I can like test that when we demonstrate that. When I say, okay, Jeff wanted to be able to do this, here's how that works. And then when I'm demonstrating that, I can see that, okay, that did follow that thing. But yeah, it's I think what you're talking about largely is probably bugs still, with a little side of like, yeah.
And even just, like alignment is one of the things I was having problems with. I could set up a card where I was showing, let's say, my specific, in this case, Firefox browser, but it's just screen position and size didn't stick, even real time. In other words, I would, like I said, I was preparing to speak, and then I go back to full screen, and then when I go back to the card, it's not where I just put it. Whereas this, the exact alignment is exactly how I said it, and the alignment saved with, in this case, whatever they call it. But in other words, I would want it to save it with the script. We call the overall file in CueCam the script, right?
Yeah.
So with that script file, and then the shoot values for, I wouldn't have thought of by card either. And I would say, it'd be great if step one or version one of that is that you save them just globally for that script. That alone, because if whereas now I'm separately, because we can't see the numerical values in CueCam, then I can't dial in it exactly. So I'm dialing it in with shoot and saving a preset in shoot. And then, in other words, not having to do that, being able to do that all within CueCam and save that. To me, that'd be an amazing step one. And then adding the ability to more granularly override the script settings for shoot. That's certainly a great one also.
Okay, great. I've just seen the time. Yes. So it's like, as you say, it takes work to save the transformation of the thing.
No, we don't hear
like,
you
so,
on Zoom.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I think that it is essentially like, when your Firefox Windows, it takes work. I have to encode the transformation in order for that to stay in the same place on Zoom. And it's like, what do I save against what card? What do I save against a script? What do I save generally? So like a camera LUT goes against a just like this the app level camera settings. And I've kind of put the shoot settings at the app level, so they're not per script. But then some things do feel like they should be per script. Some things feel like but I have to be able to think of a use case that would be useful to put per card or per script, and not make it so it's really annoying that I've got to do the same thing on every script, because this is actually something that's, I've only got one camera, it always needs a LUT, so it's sort of thinking about that, hearing feedback, seeing what happens. But this is
sharing the desktop, even though I may have just set it to an image or something else. Whereas like I mentioned, I will almost never share my desktop because there's just too many windows, too many icons, all that stuff. I'm always sharing apps.
Well, Jeff, I'm sorry. I think people might have missed the start of that because I didn't do the thing. But yeah, so I think we got. I think we got. Oh, that's weird. Is my audio coming through? Yeah, my cue. Okay. I've got like a weird switch, so it could easily get out of sync if the Stream Deck does something weird. Yeah, so I think some people maybe missed the start, but yeah, so the default share thing, I did take your feedback on that, and now I don't know if you've noticed this, but if I say I want to share like a different thing, I can like, whoops, sorry. So if I wanted to, I don't know how to show this without, if my default display was I'm sharing, I don't know, Visual Studio Code, which is currently, let's bring up a thing so we can see it. Now I can right click on there and say set as default share. So now when I click that button, that's always going to go back to sharing code. So this is, some stuff, me taking on board different use cases, just trying to sort of like, but, trying to find the right level to put that stuff generally. Anyway, look, we're at 7:10. I love that this has been like an interactive session. I did have quite a lot of stuff to talk about for this session as it was. So I'm sort of like risking being late for dinner. So maybe we'll skip over Apple Motion because I did want to talk about. Well, I did want to talk about Motion because I do think there's some scope for doing some cool motion graphic stuff and thinking about transitions, because I find Motion really annoying to work with, and a lot of the time, a lot of these animation tools I find quite annoying to work with, and it's quite nice having this card-based way of thinking about things. I did just chuck in the Discord, like I kind of want to be able to trigger this with OSC and MIDI so that I can sort of make little, sort of sketch little music videos as I'm working on a song and sort of like think about what you're going to see when you're hearing things. But that's another story. I'm going to slow down a little bit. Something I did want to just show you is mmhmmm, which is this wonderful little open source tool created by the three blue one brown person. And so this is kind of what your presentation looks like. It looks like code like this. So you can create these diagrams with a little bit of code, but then you can also do these. Like here is a Boolean operation diagram, and you see, like once you start to get into code, it's not a lot. You can sort of see it all in one place, and so something like this. Okay, I want a dot moving along a thing. I'd really like to take a little bit of inspiration from, I don't know, maybe. I don't know what this means, but this is something that's always on my mind. Is like this. I think there's a lot you can do with text-based, like with a few words can do a lot sometimes, and this is an example of that. And if I could sort of provide a way, and especially when you've got large language models as well that can generate the code for you, right? So all you've got to do is describe the effect you want and paste in some code into a box, and suddenly you've got this beautiful animation. I love that as I'd love to sort of have something like this in here where you can kind of start to have these little sort of animations and things, and I don't know, and it just feels to me this is probably where I would go if I wanted to do that myself. And at the moment you can render these out as videos, and I have that working, and then sort of bring them into CueCam that way. But I quite like the idea of if someone's putting together some big course, it might be quite cool to just be able to throw something like this in. Anyway, that was just something else I was looking at over the weekend. So we're gonna sort of like start winding it up. I'm gonna say, please, I'm looking for anyone that wants to come on and do a quick presentation. And I'm talking like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you want, about something you're excited about, something you're interested in, with the only requirement that you use CueCam. I want to bring you on. If you want to promote something, I don't care. Like, as long as you're using CueCam to talk about it, it can seem like it would be boring to anyone else, but I just want to hear like what you're interested in, and I want to see how you're able to express that using CueCam. And, as part of that, I've got a little web form that you can sort of fill in what you want to do. And I will get on a call with you and sort of help make sure you're making the most of it and that we've got something that we think is going to work. So it's sort of a nice way to get a bit of free, one-on-one content tech. Maybe I'll add a feature that might make your presentation better just because I'm like, oh, it'd be really good if they could be able to do this, and then I'll add the thing and then you can do the thing. So I'm looking out. I've got a couple of people that are working on stuff at the moment, but really just to, it just brings these streams alive if we have more people on here. So this is what I'm looking for. Just reach out on michael@squares.tv. And then Discord is where we hang out, and that's where you can influence the direction of the stuff I'm doing. Shoot, video, pencil, CueCam. Maybe one day I work on Beat Sheet again. Cyprian says, loved the flow of the session today. Yeah, it sort of caught me out a little bit. I liked it when YouTube wasn't going wrong. That was my favourite part. But yeah, so I'm going to leave you with maybe not all 7 minutes of this, but this is the music at the end of today will be something I did in 2008. I wanted to do this text-based animation where it was a physics simulation with the words kind of falling down from the top of the screen. And I made this interactive performing thing which played the music, and then I recorded this. I wrote, it's sort of like a poem, like a sort of video poem kind of thing, with the music coming from what I'm doing on the thing, and it's a screen recording. And this was just like a hungover Sunday morning and me thinking about the nature of, humanity, the transhuman condition, the nature of progress, AI, all robots, all that kind of thing. So I don't know how well it's going to come across on the stream, but this is on my YouTube as well. At Michael Forrest is the handle on there. It's from 2008. So I'm just going to put that on to play us out. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. Thank you, Jeff, for your contributions, particularly. But thanks to everyone else. It's been a nice little session on After Hours today. I see a few people on that grid, and you probably did too. And thanks to everyone on YouTube as well. And if you're looking at it on the playlist, and I should ask people to like it. You can like the YouTube video, by the way. It makes it get recommended to people. Do I want it to be? I don't know. But you can do that. But yeah, thanks very much for joining me. And here is Falling Leaves by me from 2008. This is